Yeah, I get right to the racks. Then I make that shit back. Run up on me, get shot in the back.
It's your turn. Beautiful, it's Scott Show, man. Back and dance, there we go. House, and we're back out west. So once again, we got a documentary, right? Mini doc.
Yeah, we're going mini doc waves. If it's your first time tuning in, subscribe to the channel, request the content, and then we react accordingly. So this is Jaron. This is his channel. Follow him on Instagram. Follow, more importantly, on YouTube. Pops React. You can follow me on Instagram. Subscribe to the Discord below.
And that's all right too, right? Sacramento gang war. We're interested. We're invested in this now.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, shout out Swamp Story, Sacramento gang war, Oak Park versus G-Parkway. So this is like Mazda versus CML.
Right.
So let's hop right to it, man.
Because I was curious why.
Yeah, right. So let's see what happens. No more talk.
Swamp Stories. First and foremost, thank you guys so much for supporting this channel, and you guys make it what it is. And for those of you who are new to this channel, make sure to like and subscribe if you like the video.
Subscribe to us.
Get ready, because this is going to be the craziest video to date.
Oh, okay.
This one is mind-blowing. For this series, we leave the Bay and head up Highway 80 to Sacramento, the lamest city in California. And they definitely do not get the credit they deserve for their influence on the Bay culture. I'll admit that we love to look down on Sacramento, but that will stop after this series, because you'll see why Sacktown is nothing to play with. Sacramento streets operate differently than the Bay Area. Unlike the Bay, Sacramento has Bloods and Crips. That's because many Sacramento residents moved up from LA while Bay residents came from the South. When they moved to Sac, they brought their bandanas with them. Certain neighborhoods are Crip and others are Blood, but it's not as simple as Blood versus Crip. In Sacramento, there are Bloods that beef with Bloods and Crips that beef with Crips. In typical Northern California fashion, the hood politics are messy and make zero sense. In this series, I'll make sense of it all for you to understand.
Wow, so them boys went from LA and they still gangbanging. Instead of living that life, they went from LA to go blood it up.
That's all they know, yeah. So my question is to you guys in the comments below. So he's saying basically the Bay Area doesn't have Bloods and Crips?
Yeah, it's just neighborhoods.
I'm sure they have neighborhood gangs, but I guess there's no Bloods. There got to be some, right?
Nah.
Give me a percentage.
But Philly's like that too. If you go to
subscribe!
If you go to Philadelphia, there's only neighborhoods and
Philly's like that?
Yeah,
I'm not familiar with the Philly war zone.
In this video, we're going to be talking about the Oak Park Bloods against the G-Parkway. Well, they're not really Crips or Bloods, they're kind of both, but basically Oak Park versus G-Parkway. But before we get into it, let me run the intro.
Oh shit.
Sound like Dr. Dre, y'all. Definitely Dr. Dre influence.
Damn. Donut shot killing, Macy shooting, garbage truck shooting.
Oak Park is most famous for the rapper Mozzie, and G Parkway is famous for CML, also known as Lavish D. We're going to start from the beginning though. The neighborhoods formed their gang affiliations in the 1980s crack era. That's when Crips and Bloods from LA moved up to Sacramento to sell drugs. They essentially took over the streets and implemented their gang culture from LA. Not only did they bring drugs, but they brought violence, especially in these two areas. Some attribute the building of Highway 50 and Highway 99 to Oak Park's problems. The freeways essentially cut off the neighborhood from the rest of Sacramento. Oak Park is basically known for three sections: 4th Ave, where Mozzie's from, 33rd Street, and 12th Ave. They operate basically as one big gang called the Oak Park Bloods. They call themselves FAB, or FAB, and 612, which is the number code for FAB. The gang was started by a man named Nigel Collins from Pomona, California.
I thought he was a basketball player. He ended up being a Blood.
How do you find the basketball? He found his high school basketball.
Yeah, like how do you find this Swamp Story? You're a weirdo.
Outside of LA. Since the inception of the Oak Park Bloods, their biggest rival has been South Sacramento's G-Parkway neighborhood. Oak Park also has had beef with Del Paso Heights and other areas in Sac, but for this video, we're going to focus on G-Parkway. The G-Parkway was formed a little differently than Oak Park. Many of G-Parkway's residents didn't come from LA, they actually came from Oakland. In order to defend themselves from Sacramento gangs, G-Parkway's new residents formed their own gang, and they called it the G-Mob. The G-Mob was started by a legendary family called the Barksdales. Remember that name, Barksdale. The G-Mob started calling themselves the Star.
The Wire, that was the name.
There was a character named Barksdale.
Yo, that's kind of weird how niggas be migrating to have a better life, but they just destroy it either way.
Yeah, because I mean, it's like it comes with that culture. Like you come with that gang culture. That shit follows you because you bring your uncle. He's affiliated.
And then he bumps into a Crip who's he's a blood and he bumps into a Crip out of nowhere and they start beefing.
Yeah,
and they're from both from LA and Oakland.
There it is.
Yeah.
That's simple.
Stars later in the 2000s, but they also go by G-Mob or Stars. It's all the same thing. They affiliate with Crips and also some
you got
Bloods,
that hat
but they're really from Oakland, so they don't really do the Crip and Blood thing that heavily. They really just bang their project. G-Parkway is still very connected to Oakland to this day. The G-Parkway and Oak Park beef is kind of like any beef across America, but actually it's a little bit different. This beef is one of the craziest ones you've ever heard of.
Really?
These gangs are fearless and they will let it blow with no hesitation. You'll get to see why. Let's start off in the 2000s. June 16th, 2004. It's 1:30 p.m. in Oak Park. A man from G-Parkway named Michael Cherry is visiting a friend in Oak Park. As he leaves his friend's house, 3 men surround him. They press him about being in Oak Park when he's not supposed to be, especially because he's from enemy territory. According to Cherry, he runs back into the house and is shot while running. He hops through the back window, runs into the street where he sees a
why they use that?
Boys in the hood.
Yeah, boys in the hood shit.
garbage truck. He jumps in the garbage truck and asks the man to get him out of Oak Park.
We killed those shit.
The garbage man says that Cherry had a gun, so he followed his orders. Cherry denies having a gun though. As the garbage truck drives away, the 3 Oak Park men spin the block in their Malibu, looking for Cherry. The driver remains calm and the Malibu doesn't see Cherry inside the truck. Then, Cherry realizes he's shot and has the man drive him to G-Parkway instead of the hospital. That's Cherry's side of the story, but there has to be more to it because one of the Oak Park men was shot twice, and guns don't shoot themselves. Neither side would cooperate with officers, so all the charges
yeah, like
would be
what are
dropped.
these random videos of a man shot? Yo, not for nothing.
I'm bleeding.
That's some real thug shit. When you don't go to the hospital, you go to the block. There's got to be a hood
No,
doctor.
because he didn't want to go to the immediate doctor in that area because there's probably gunshots fired.
They be hood doctors though? Is that a real thing?
Well, no, I seen it in the show.
Niggas is not smart enough.
There's no hood doctors.
The incident would kick off more tensions between the areas though. July 28th, 2005.
Cherry got
Oak
up
Park
out of
Blood
there.
member David Perkins, who Mozzie refers to in his songs as Perk, decides to meet up with some associates from Valley High Bloods in South Sacramento. They decided to pull up on their rivals, and listen to this. They pulled up 8 deep in 2 separate cars. That's when they hop out of the cars on foot and run down on the rival apartments. They start shooting from all angles.
Damn.
David Perkins is actually the first person to shoot. The rest of the members shoot too. The rivals start booking it, running back into the apartments. They take cover and none of them get hit. They successfully avoided the blitz. That's when all the Bloods decide to hop back in their cars. But that's when they notice David Perkins slumped over and bleeding. They help him into the car and speed off. His Valley High associates don't want to take him to the hospital because they don't want to be arrested for the shooting. So they dump him on the sidewalk near his aunt's house where he bleeds to death.
Yo, that's like Wi-Fi and Lucci recently. The Wi-Fi and Lucci, the rapper from Atlanta. Every day we lit. Every day we lit. Yo, literally, the nigga was in a car with his friend. He got shot and they fucking kicked his friend at the car and he died.
Oh man, that's not a friend.
Yeah, but like,
That's messed up, right?
I guess it's like survival of the fittest, maybe?
I think that a lot of times people panic and they figure like if I take my friend to the hospital,
It's over. Paranoia.
and,
kicks
you know,
on.
it depends affiliation. How close were they? Maybe were they were in the same gang doesn't mean that they rock with each other.
That is true.
I don't know. It's kind of weird.
This is where things get interesting. Valley High Blood member and close Oak Park associate Kenneth K9 Carter decides to testify against the gang to receive immunity, meaning he gets all his charges dropped and walks away free if he testifies. He decides to tell them everything they needed. He tells prosecutors all the names of the people involved in the ambush. He says they plan on getting their revenge on their rivals for the death of their friend Wesley Hunter. He tells them that David Perkins was not killed by the rivals and actually it was friendly fire. That's when prosecutors grab Denisho Collins and find his Tech 9. Ballistics show that Denisho's gun shot David Perkins. Denisho would get 25 years to life for the murder, and 2 other members would get 25 years and another member would get 15 years. Kenneth K9 Carter would walk away free with no charges, and he was involved in the shooting. Basically, friendly fire took the
no way this nigga walks free. They're gonna end up killing his ass.
Boy, he gone.
Yeah.
He done moved to New York.
That nigga moved to Dallas or some shit.
Yeah, he gone.
life of Mozzie's close friend. March 15th, 2006. 2 G-Mob members are at a donut shop near G-Parkway.
Donut.
That's when Oak Park Blood member Saron Hill, aka Doody, walks in the shop to confront them.
Doodoo.
He tells them he's looking for their gang member Donald Stone
Where he at?
and asks where he is.
Where he at,
Before the men can even speak, Doody pulls out his gun and shoots both of them. One of them would die on the scene. Rest in peace, Jack Lawrence.
Oh wow, rest in peace. That's crazy.
It's June 11th, 2006,
Damn.
1 p.m. A group of young men from G-Parkway are leaving Macy's in downtown
They got their
Sacramento.
drip.
That's when they run into a group of Oak Park Bloods. At first, the group start arguing. They all take off their size 4XL tees, I imagine, and start fighting.
I imagine.
They handled the situation the way it should be. Just a simple group fist fight. Well then, a crowd of bystanders crowd around to watch the fight. Tensions get high, and that's when 16-year-old Oak Park member Miguel Enriquez pulls out his gun. He starts shooting at the rivals
he's
while
Spanish.
yelling "Fab" and Oak Park. One bullet strikes a 19-year-old G-Parkway man named Eric Young. Another bullet strikes G-Parkway member Malcolm Brewer. Eric Young would tragically pass away.
Rest in peace, damn.
Oak Park Blood member Miguel Enriquez has been in Salinas Valley State Prison since. He may be released in 2023 on parole due to California's new law.
Wow, that's this year. This video was made 2 years ago. And he was locked up since 2006. So that's what? 10 plus years, maybe 15 years for shooting 2 people and killing 1. He should get more years than that, right?
Think so?
Bro, I'm not a prosecutor or no snitch, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Bro, if you shoot 2 people, 1 dies.
And that's not a bad.
One attempted murder is about 11 years.
Yeah, that's not a bad sentencing, and it's interesting because we've covered.
That's a good deal.
Yeah, other countries like in England, when if you get it, you do half your time. So
If it's not violent, I think.
if it's not violent, like if they give you 20 years, you do 10.
Yeah.
So that's not bad. He
Right.
got like 16 years.
Well, that's not true, though. I think if it's certain violent cases, as long
It
as you don't
depends
kill the
how- As
person.
long as you like slap a nun or something.
Word.
January 17th, 2007. 3 Oak Park teenagers take the train down to South Sacramento.
Okay.
They get off on Florin Road in the middle of enemy territory. They enter a mini-mart as 2 G-Mob members are leaving. The 2 G-Mob members wait for the Oak Park boys outside the mini-mart.
Damn.
They exchange words when one of the Oak Park members, Lamar,
Lil
punches
Stay.
G-Mob member Lil Stay.
Stay.
Lamar knocks him down while Lil Stay pulls out his pistol.
Oh my
Lamar
God.
starts
Keep
to
showing
run. He
this
stuff.
starts to run away fast. G-Mob member Lil Stay starts shooting his pistol.
Right.
His aim was really good because he knocks down Lamar in the middle of the street. Lamar would pass away after being struck. Jamel Lil Stay Stevens would receive 50 years to life.
50.
March 23rd, 2007. A group of young teenagers from Oak Park are at a
Damn.
house party in
Shit.
Del Paso Heights. They're all 15 and 16 years
Hey.
old because it's a high school party.
Hey.
The young Oak Park members feel threatened and they feel
Hey.
like they're gonna get jumped. They
Hey.
leave the house party and call 15-year-old Jarrell Ties, who's an Oak Park Blood
Little
member.
kid, bro.
They head
Pretty
back-
smart. They call the youngin so he can do the crime.
Little kids, man. That's what I feel bad. Like these little kids make one bad decision, man. Now Jarrell Taz. Let's go see what Jarrell Taz did at 15 years old.
He not getting out till he's 40. He's missing all
That's
his
a shame,
20s.
man.
Imagine missing all your 20s and 30s.
And that shit happen in so many neighborhoods, so many hoods. Like,
Yeah.
they be recruiting the young ones, man. And
The
you know,
minors.
when you're young, man, try to impress.
Word.
Back to the party to wait outside before Jarrell arrives. Jarrell pulls up slowly, turns off his headlights, and tells them, "You guys go home. Go home right now." That's when the Oak Park teenagers run from the area. Jarrell Ties gets out of his car and starts unloading his 40 caliber handgun into the party. That's when he hops back
Why?
into his car and speeds off. A 16-year-old girl named Jalissa Office is pronounced dead on the scene. Jarrell Ties would be arrested for the murder. He would confess to his cousin that the murder was him, and that was a mistake for his freedom. That confession would end up getting him life in prison.
Yo, he got life at 15, but I mean, not for nothing, bro. If you're shooting into house parties, bro, they're gonna make an example out of you. Like,
Wow.
you can't just be shooting into a party and just think you're gonna just get away with that.
Yeah. Pretty
Especially hit a civilian, hit a civ, it's quiet.
much. Wow. He ain't never coming home.
Word.
It's crazy. Crazy.
May 2nd, 2007. A G-Mob affiliate from Oakland is at a nightclub near Sacramento State. He gets into an argument with
Sac
Oak
State?
Park Bloods at the club. The Oakland man starts doing his turf dance
Hey.
after the argument.
Hey.
Mind you, this sounds
Hey.
goofy now, but this was the hyphy era and this was regular activity.
shit.
The Oak Park members felt disrespected. They would attack him in the club. The bouncers would throw everyone out of the club.
God.
This is when tragedy hits. The G-Mob member from Oakland allegedly tries to run over the Oak Park Bloods with his car. That's when Oak Park's David Falls starts busting at the car. 20-year-old female
Oh my
Sacramento State student Kebret Teko would pass away.
It's a shame.
She was an Ethiopian immigrant with dreams of being a doctor.
Wow.
The new generation of
Yo.
G-Mobs start calling.
They be wildin', bro, and they be killing civilians, yo. Hit your target. What are y'all doing, bro?
So sad.
And this happens all over the country. We seen this everywhere, like you said earlier. Like the same repetitive shit in the
That's the
hood.
only thing about guns, like gun users, like they can't wait to use it.
Word.
People who have guns, they can't wait, man. They be on fleek ready.
I know.
You know, and that's dangerous.
themselves the stars at this point, but they still go by G-Mob too. August 22nd, 2008. Young G-Mob members are at a house party in South Sac, smoking, drinking, dancing with girls.
Right.
6 to 8 teenage Oak Park Bloods walk in the party. The G-Mob boys rep their set and yell expletives at the Oak Park boys. Marvell Barksdale hears commotion while he's in the backyard. He opens the sliding glass door to come inside and sees the Oak Park members. He pulls out his gun and shoots 16-year-old Robert Haynes dead. Robert Haynes was a football player, and many from the outside thought it was just a random murder, wrong place, wrong time. Those assumptions would change though. They found gunpowder residue on his hands, proving that he shot the gun as well, or at least that he was holding a gun that had been fired recently. The G-Mob defense said that Oak Park Bloods came into the house party to cause problems. They had their guns out and they're ready to do whatever. The G-Mob defense makes perfect sense. The Oak Park Bloods came into the party to cause problems.
Self-defense laws. I doubt they beat that. So we'll see what happens.
So what he's saying is, it's not like they got a deal or something. Maybe they got reduced to manslaughter.
So that football player was dead of blood and a running back. That's crazy.
Man.
He was playing both sides.
And the G-Mob acted in self-defense. It was even proven that Oak Park members let off shots too. Regardless of that, the courts didn't want to hear that side. G-Mob member Marvell Barksdale would be sent to prison for a minimum of 36 years. G-Parkway and Oak Park are bitter rivals. It's on site at any time, at a club, at a donut shop, or at a house party. They truly just hate each other.
From who get 30, 50 years, you think they wake up and they probably think they're out of jail? Like, you think this is all a dream or some shit? They probably wake up and be like, I'm still here 10 years later, 15 years. How do you deal with that mentally?
Like psychologically. It's
got to
turn you solid though.
You
got to survive now too. Remember where you at.
Word.
That hate would continue to the next generation too. The next generation of Oak Park was headed by a rapper named Lil Nick. He was an up-and-coming rapper representing his hood, but he wasn't just rapping. He was living the street life too.
Oh, nah.
October 24th, 2009. It's 2 a.m. after a Webby concert in Sacramento. Lil Nick is in the parking garage of the venue with his friend Sean Joyner when he runs into a man named David Blanks. David Blanks is a South Sacramento Crip from 29th Street set, right by the G-Mob. When David Blanks sees Lil Nick, he reps his set by saying 29th Street. Lil Nick would respond and say, "This is Oak Park." Oh, wow. That's when Lil Nick whips out and starts shooting at David Blanks. He leaves him dead on the pavement. Lil Nick and Sean Joyner would drive off. Police would suspect that it was a gang-related shooting, but would not have enough evidence to prove who did the shooting. That's until 2 women would come forward to testify. David Blank's girlfriend would tell prosecutors that Lil Nick shot her boyfriend dead. Then Sean Joyner's baby mama would come forward and testify that her baby daddy, Sean Joyner, was with Lil Nick when the shooting occurred. Police hadn't even suspected of Sean Joyner being there until his own...
Bro, mind your business before you guys smoke
pillow talk.
Oh, that is just the pillow talk, and also...
The pillow talking.
How does she know though? How did the baby mom, the
pillow
girl that
talking,
got killed?
he ain't paid that child support. He did her dirty, so she's snitching.
She ratted on him at the child support.
She like, yo, enough already. Enough is enough.
At the child support hearing, right?
Word.
Own baby mama would come and snitch on him. So Sean Joyner and Lil Nick would be sentenced to 40 years to life in prison. I know Sean Joyner must hate his baby mama now, because my goodness. If all these events haven't blown your mind yet, I promise you this one will. December 15th, 2010. It's 12 men.
I know that he's explaining the half part of the old generation that leads up to the newer. Come on, mention Mozzie and them already, bro.
I guess he's getting that. Be patient, man.
I know, it's already it's 13 minutes
in.
into
the Fly Cuts Barbershop in South Sacramento. The first man is Lonnie Mitchell. He's wearing a black hoodie with a Tech-9 machine gun tucked under it. His brother Lewis walks in behind him strapped with a 9mm handgun in his pocket. Inside the barbershop, there are 2 men getting their hair cut, Larry Jones and Ernest S., who's there with his son. They can sense something is up with the Mitchells who just walked in the shop with their guns. They quietly call their friend James Carney to come as soon as possible. James Carney calls the Barksdales to come as well. James Carney rolls up and parks across the street. One of the men getting his hair cut, Ernest S., runs out of the shop with his son to go put him in the back of the car. Remember, the Barksdales are the founders of the G-Mob. Marvion and Charles Barksdale pull up to the barbershop with a man and a woman riding with them. When the Mitchells notice, Lewis and Lonnie Mitchell walk out of the barbershop and stand outside. The Barksdales get out of their car and walk towards the Mitchells. That's when both groups pull out their guns and start...
Degenerate brother family versus another degenerate family.
Yeah, that shit is crazy, man. Battle or chaos. It should be over nothing too sometime. Sometimes it be about stuff, but sometimes it be about stuff that you could have figured out some other way.
Yeah, this is bad.
Once it's on, it's on. Ain't no stopping it.
Exactly.
And that's what's happening here. That's why a lot of y'all like, why would this happen? Because once you start a beef, there ain't no stopping it. Once it's on, it's on. Remember that.
Right.
Starts shooting. Carney ducks down and starts shooting his revolver towards the Mitchells. Lonnie Mitchell starts letting his Tech 9 rip in all directions, Tony Montana style. One of the bullets from Carney's small revolver hits a woman who's shielding her 2-year-old son. Marvion Barksdale is also shot. When Marvion notices that his brother is shot, he drags him into the car and they drive off. That's when the Mitchells turn around and start firing randomly into the barbershop and hit witnesses. They injure 4 people inside the barbershop.
They thought that they got set up? Because they were in the barbershop,
they're trying to kill the witnesses, but my thing is that as soon as the gunplay start, I'm out. Like, I'm not watching nothing.
Are they retarded? They try to kill witnesses like this is 1850?
Yeah.
Nigga, this is not medieval times. How you going to kill witnesses and get away with that too?
You're not getting away with nothing. Get a job.
Woman who was shot passes away at the scene right in front of her 2-year-old son.
So she was scared. She didn't know which way to turn because they was coming everywhere.
Investigators and witnesses calling it a crazy scene. Crime scene tape, evidence markers litter a South Sacramento strip mall following a deadly shooting. Caught in the crossfire is a mother putting her child in a car seat.
And right now, sheriff's deputies and detectives want to know why that parking lot was turned into a killing zone.
We've learned tonight that the woman who was killed was 30-year-old Monique Nelson. Here's a picture of the victim. We talked to Nelson's family tonight about the tragedy that claimed her life. In the meantime, the investigation continues.
Broad daylight.
Marvion Barksdale passes away at the hospital. Wow, that's all I have to say. Wow. The court case for this massacre was crazy too. Oak Park Blood member Larry Jones, who was getting his haircut at the time, was also involved in the shooting. He would be the only person to testify in court. He would defend his case by saying he was simply in the barbershop to get a haircut with his friend James Carney. And when he heard gunshots, he simply pulled out his gun and started shooting back in self-defense. He would be acquitted of all charges. James Carney, whose revolver killed the woman.
No way. In Cali, bro, there's no self-defense laws.
Well, wow. What's his name? Larry Jones?
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Nigga, lucky.
You're a smart dude, bro.
Nigga had a lucky
you
day.
lucky. God bless you, dog.
In front of her son is sentenced to 21 years in prison. He can be released on parole in 2027. Lonnie Mitchell would be charged with the murder of Marvion Barksdale. He would get 2 life sentences. His brother Lewis would also get 2 life sentences. On the other side, G-Mob member Charles Barksdale would be sentenced to 21 years in prison.
Yo!
Yeah, man, this show, formerly known as Chuck's Bees, represent for something terrible. In 916 Sacramento, you know, I'm in my hood.
Jury verdicts in the murder of a young Sacramento mother surprised some people today. 2 brothers were found guilty in the killing at a Sacramento barbershop 4 years ago, but there were not guilty verdicts for others. KCRA3 Sharkina Shams has the details.
We, the jury, in the above entitled cause,
They just look crazy, bro. 2 brothers. How y'all like... Now, at least one of them should have been like, yo, what are we doing? Shooting to the barbershop? What are you doing? They both was like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Throw our life away.
Throw it all away. Wow.
This
I want to see his reaction right now because he's about to get sentenced.
Niggas got peanut brains.
For real.
Guilty.
A jury found Lonnie Mitchell and his brother Lewis Mitchell guilty of first-degree murder today in the killing of Monique Nelson. Detectives say Nelson was trying to protect her 2-year-old son from gunfire outside a South Sacramento barbershop 4 years ago when she was struck and killed. Nelson's family did not comment after the verdicts were read today. These were not the only guilty verdicts prosecutors had wanted. They had argued that the Mitchell brothers were shooting at others, including James Carney and Larry Jones, who were lying in wait at the barbershop. But defense attorneys argued that those men were only protecting themselves when they returned fire.
Mr. Jones was sitting in the back of the barbershop quietly, minding his own business, and I think the evidence was very clear that he was trying to run away, shot twice in self-defense, and didn't shoot anybody, didn't hurt anybody.
And today the jury found Jones not guilty on all counts as he cried in the courtroom, and Carney guilty only of manslaughter, not murder.
Around this time, Mozzie, then known as Lil Tim, was starting to rap.
I didn't know that.
His career would be paused because he would be in and out of prison for firearms charges. His biggest stint was 2 years in San Quentin in 2010. On the other side, G-Parkway rapper CML, or Lavish D, was thugging too. In 2007, his house would be raided where they would find a Tech 9 and a
Love the
handgun.
Tech 9.
He would go to prison numerous times after that. His rap career started before Mozzie. Well, at least he started popping off earlier, around 2010. If you guys want me to continue
That's right, so Mozzie up there.
Mozzie and them up there, they gotta be like 36, 37. They're not close to you. You're 67, nigga.
I'm 67. They're not close.
Oh shit.
this series into the current days
we
of
just
Oak
had
Park
we had
versus
no
G-Parkway.
Mozzie CML shit. We just had 2010, 2000 from 2010.
That's like a tease.
But there is a part 2 of this, so we might have to double back.
Do that. Let us know in the comments
What the
if you
fuck?
like that.
All right, is Jerry TV in channel?
We out of here.
Peace.
And I know how it gets, so I gotta stay low, now move my knot. I don't trust no nigga, I don't trust no man, ain't no friends, everybody get shot. You never know how nigga gon' throw, I'm hitting the floor with a couple of shots. You better move, you better duck, either way to go.